Everyone, my name is Jake Rennie and I'm currently living in Los Angeles, California, serving with Calling All Skaters for the next 2 years of my life. I just wanted to share a little bit about my story, where I'm at, what I'm here for, and what my vision is for the next 2 years. So I grew up at the top of the East Coast in the state of Maine in a small town called Gray. I lived there until I was about 18 years old and I started skateboarding at the age of 4 and was a skate rat. I've always been a skateboarder. I've always been fascinated by skateboarding, how you have so much freedom, how you get to express your creativity, and how it's just a way of self-expression. My family and I went to church till I was about 13 years old, and it was your typical family situation where we just go to church every Sunday and then we live out the rest of our week. But we had to stop going to church because my dad had to start working Sundays. So my family decided that we shouldn't go anymore. From there, a couple of years go by and then I start to go to high school. And at this point, there's no thought of God in my mind. I pretty much forgot about my religion. I pretty much forgot about what it means to follow Jesus, and I just started doing my own thing. I started getting involved with the wrong people. I started smoking weed, partying, and started doing the things that I thought would make me happy and make me feel good. And I was still skateboarding a bunch during this whole period of my life, but I was just hanging out with the wrong crowd of skateboarders. In junior year of high school, I was failing out of school. I was still doing things I wasn't supposed to be doing. But I had a very close friend approach me and talk to me about it. She said, hey, you're gonna fail school if you keep going down the path you're going. You're not gonna be able to pass, so you're gonna have to drop out. And that really spoke to me at the time, so I decided to get my act together and quit everything cold turkey. So I ended up passing junior year with straight D's. Don't know how I did it, but I did it. And yeah, I started to turn my life around. But still, I didn't know anything about the Lord. I didn't want anything to do with Jesus. And I just wanted to do my own thing. I was trying to live my life for myself. That summer I got hit with depression super hard because I kept trying to find myself in skateboarding, girls, and self-satisfaction. These things were super unhealthy for me, and I started to feel so alone in the world. When I was younger in skateboarding, I saw this skater named Brian Summoner who had started up Christian companies. But over the years, as I faded away from the thought of Jesus and the thought of Christianity, I lost touch with the skateboarding aspect of Christianity. So during the time that I was depressed, I was scrolling through my phone on Instagram and I came across a video that Brian Summoner had posted. It was a trailer for a video he created called Foolishness, a video where a bunch of pro skaters come together and just share the gospel. And I was really curious because these were pro skateboarders. I related to these people. Why were they sharing the love of Jesus? So I second guessed it, thought it was too good to be true, and I bought it. So when the video arrived in the mail, my family was out on a grocery run. I thought it was a good time to pop it in and see if this thing was actually real. And just like that, God had opened my eyes. For the first time in my life, God revealed the gospel to me. And I started to feel guilty and I started to feel ashamed that I was living my whole life for the wrong motives. And at that moment, I knew that God had put a purpose in my life. And I got down on my hands and knees crying and I cried out to the Lord. I asked the Lord for forgiveness and I prayed to Jesus and asked him to come into my heart and change my life. A couple weeks go by after this and I'm reading my Bible now and I'm attending Bible studies and I'm trying to get plugged into a church or to a community of believers, but I still had this feeling that I wasn't supposed to be in Maine, that my gifts needed to be used somewhere else in the world. So I was scrolling through Instagram again and I came across a post by this organization called Calling All Skaters. It was an ad for a discipleship training school. And a discipleship training school is where students come together and they get to learn about the Father heart of God, learn about the characteristics of Jesus, and how to apply the gospel to skateboarding culture. After I saw this, I knew I had to try it. I knew I had to see if this is what God had called me to. And I wanted to find out if skateboarding was meant in my life for a certain purpose. So back in 2016, 2017, I did a fall DTS, and it was an amazing time. I got to see mountains move in my life, my Heavenly Father. I got to experience the joy of the Lord in skateboarding, and I saw a breakthrough in my family and my friends being so stoked on what I was doing for the skateboarding culture. And I didn't want this feeling to end. I didn't want to stop. When I graduated and I came back home, I started praying to the Lord. Lord, I want to keep doing this. I don't want to stop doing skate ministry. If it's your will, God, help me get there. So November 2017, Calling All Skaters approached me with the opportunity to become a staff member in the Los Angeles location. They needed help with local ministry in the Los Angeles area and asked if I could help staff and help create media for YouTube and Instagram. So I packed my bags back in November, traveled across the country from Maine to California, and I've been living in Los Angeles ever since. And I've been growing in the Lord every single day, stepping out in faith, and I've been really encouraged by the people that live at the house here to keep using my gifts for the glory of God. And skateboarding is such an outlet. Music, art, and fashion are all influences that build around this culture. It's such an outlet for creativity, and the fact that God's placed that in people's lives to help share the gospel through skateboarding, through their creativity, is amazing. So what I'm doing right now in Los Angeles is I'm help running local barbecues, Bible studies, skate trips, and going to local skate parks and being a part of the community, just loving on the skateboarders. One of the values in Calling All Skaters is moving at the speed of relationships. and Jesus moved at the speed of relationships. He was with the people who were struggling, and even with the disciples, he was just loving on them. And that's what I'm trying to help do with Calling All Skaters, and just be present in the skateboarding community. Even though there's a lot of freedom in skateboarding, a lot of people use skateboarding as a stress reliever, as an outlet to get away from life, because you don't have to think when you're skateboarding. You can just cruise and think of nothing and relax for those couple of hours. So our goal is to go into the skate community, share the love of Jesus through relationships, and tell them, hey, this feeling that you have right now with skateboarding, Jesus can give you this feeling all the time. So I'm looking for people to partner with me for the next 2 years through prayer and financial support, because God has called me into the full-time ministry, to be on the front lines in skateboarding ministry. And not just in California. I have the opportunity to lead DTSs, go to skate conferences, and go to different parts of the world to share this love of Jesus to the skateboarding culture. But none of this is possible if I'm not able to make the financial need through prayer and support, and I believe God will provide. In 1 Peter chapter 4 verse 10 it says, "Each of you should use whatever gifts you have received to serve others, as faithful stewards of God's grace in various forms." Whether it's music, painting, skating, filming, or working a 9 to 5, God gives you the ability to serve others and your talents. I'm constantly reminding myself every day to be in check of that. Am I using my talents to serve Jesus, or am I using it to benefit myself? God's been showing me that we need to use our energy, time, and influences wisely. And if we lack wisdom, He'll give it to us generously. But we have to ask in faithfulness. Wisdom and faith go hand in hand, and God blesses our faithfulness. So I ask if you'll partner with me as I partner with Calling All Skaters for the next 2 years of my life. If you feel called to contribute to this amazing opportunity to help skaters' lives, under the Ways to Help in the top right hand side, click Become a Sponsor, and that'll bring you to a page where it talks about more of what I'm doing here in local ministry, and about my monthly goal for financial support. If you already want to make a donation, click Donate in the top right hand side, and it explains the ways of how to give. Thank you so much, and God bless.